Hello everyone and welcome back guys to episode 13 of the F1 2018 Williams Road to Glory, and today we're here for the second episode of the day.
We were expecting some new developments this weekend, but some of them have failed quality control. Make sure you indicate what you'd like redeveloped via the workstation.
And well, I love Spa as a Grand Prix circuit, but clearly we're not going to go into this Grand Prix weekend with any good news. Unfortunately, yeah, one of the development parts had failed there. That'll actually be the lightweight energy store cells. So we're going to have to redevelop that, pretty much use up all of our spare R&D points there. Takes us all the way now down to 15. But yeah, Spa, one of my favourite circuit, well, actually, sorry, my favourite circuit on the Formula 1 calendar. I love this track on the whole. You know, it's probably my strongest track on the F1 calendar as well.
Here we are then at the longest racetrack on the Formula 1 calendar. Welcome to the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for today's practice session. The Spa circuit really is one of the most iconic tracks on the calendar, and Eau Rouge is one of the best corners in F1 history. A sweeping left-right-left with a blind summit.
Eau Rouge has seen some amazing moments throughout its history. I remember Mark Webber's fearless overtake on Fernando Alonso here in 2011. The whole crowd held their breath as Mark overtook the multiple world champion around the outside at 170 miles per hour.
So here we are then at the Belgian Grand Prix circuit. As I said, my favourite track on the Formula 1 calendar. It also now means we've actually overtaken the real-life F1 season in, what, 5 days since I was able to get a copy of this game. So, you know, quite happy so far with how that's gone, as well as, you know, just the support has been absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, as I said, Spa, easily my favourite track on the calendar, probably my strongest on the F1 calendar as well. But in this Williams car, it's going to be quite tough. Obviously, Hungary last time out, for those who didn't check it out earlier on, it did go up at just on midday. You know, that race didn't go quite as well as I would have hoped on the whole, so really looking to come back with a bit of a bang in this Belgian Grand Prix. Obviously, technically, the end of the F1 summer break as well. I'll also be trying to stream potentially a 100% Belgian Grand Prix tomorrow night from when this video is going up, but it'll depend on how many videos I've actually been able to get sorted by that time as well. But coming to the end of my qualifying simulation run, and well, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty certain the qualifying simulation runs are really unrealistic, you know. I'm not too sure whether it's just the simple, or whether it's just the fact you can't run maximum revs, or what it is, but the qualifying simulation runs, I just cannot get close to, and then, well, in qualifying, usually I can easily match them as well, so I don't really know what that is all about there. But yeah, only 176 points from free practice there, as I said, you know, really struggling in recent weeks on those qualifying simulation runs. Takes us up to 300 R&D points there, so we're not going to be able to get any upgrades on the car going into qualifying there. But let's move on then into qualifying here around one of, well, the roller coaster of the F1 circuits.
It's qualifying time at Spa, one of the mightiest tracks on the Formula 1 calendar. Long straights, up and downhill, Eau Rouge as well. This track isn't for the faint-hearted. So then, Ant, it's another Grand Prix weekend, another exciting qualifying session ahead of us. What are you going to be looking out for over the next few minutes?
The first question is going to be who can avoid making mistakes. There isn't much margin for error in qualifying, and you have to bear in mind that the track conditions may have changed since practice, particularly as we've had a few support races in the meantime. If the brake bias settings, for example, don't take this into account, it's extremely easy to lock up a front wheel and cause a flat spot, just like that.
It won't be easy getting out of this qualifying session. Let's see what you can do.
So yeah, the team not too optimistic that we're going to be able to make it out of Q1 here. You know, with this Mercedes engine power, it should make it a tiny bit easier than we faced in recent weeks. This is also, I think, one of only 2 tracks on this calendar, it might be 3, for all I know, where you actually use up all of your electrical energy on the D-rate scale, which is quite funny on the whole, so you actually don't get any out of the final corner. Up towards the line, though, it is going to be a 1 minute 44.7 there, as I said, beating my qualifying simulation run, and that wasn't even a particularly good lap. But I'm going to leave you on board with my fastest lap from Q1. This one felt really good on the whole.
there's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Out of the final corner though, and as I said, you know, we've pushed to the absolute limits on this lap. It is going to move us up to P15 even, sorry, overall on 1 minute 42.2. I was really, really happy with that run. But unfortunately, even though that lap felt, as I said, really, really good, it wasn't enough to make it into Q2. In fact, it wasn't even enough to beat my teammate Lance Stroll there. So we're going to strap a new engine to the car going into the race. That means we will start right at the very back of the grid. But I really just want to jump into this Belgian Grand Prix. 22 laps around, honestly, the best circuit.
In the 48 races held at Spa between 1950 and 2015, the race winner has only started from pole position on 16 occasions. Qualifying yesterday may have set the order for today, but expect the unexpected here at the Belgian Grand Prix. As the saying goes, of course, anything can happen. And you know what? It usually does. So here we are once again, ready to go racing through the Ardennes Forest. 4.35 miles of long straights, fast corners and massive elevation changes. It makes this not only one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar, but one that makes for some consistently high-quality racing as well. Simply put it, there really is no place quite like Spa. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Now I want to ask you about Pierre Gasly. As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Kimi Räikkönen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Bottas, Esteban Ocon and Hamilton. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Perez, Grosjean, Sainz and Charles Leclerc, Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Fernando Alonso and Stroll, Ricciardo, Van Dorn, Marcus Ericsson and Brendan Hartley, Gasly and the Professor. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, don't worry about making places into one, it's far too tight. Concentrate on a clean exit so you get good momentum down the Kemmel Straight.
So there we are then, just going into talks for this Grand Prix there. Make sure that, you know, once again, that we try to keep the nose clean at the start. As I said, a fresh engine strapped to the back of this Williams car there. Rich Revs were going to really, pretty much just strangle this engine, use it like you would back in sort of the early 2000s, where you could get a fresh engine pretty much every week in the back of the car there. So we're going to push this thing to the absolute limits here, and it worked out quite well in Germany for us, so obviously hoping it can be the same story. But here we are then on the grid, ready for the Belgian Grand Prix. It is 5 lights here at Circuit Spa, and it is 5 lights, and away we go there, off to a pretty mediocre start there off the launch there. But obviously, as I said, it doesn't really make too much of a difference in the very short run in towards one. We're going to try and brake nice and early there. A tiny bit of contact with Pierre Gasly there. I don't think we lost any front wing from that, luckily enough there, and we now move past both of the Toro Rosso cars out of the start. Easily the worst car around this circuit. So happy we've been able to dispatch of the pair of them there as we come up our route for the first time in this race. We do just about keep it pinned, just nearly keep it in between the white lines as we come up to the top of the hill. They're down the Kemmel Straight. You see everyone trying to fan out Daniel Ricciardo. They're trying to make any moves that he possibly can. Just a wall of Formula 1 cars ahead of me there as everyone just scrambling for positions here through these first couple of corners there. Van Dorn and Ericsson both going very, very slowly there. We're going to try and capitalise on that. They kick out the back end out of that corner, and now we're going to try and look to the outside of the power mirror as we come through the hairpin here. Are we going to be able to make this work? Unfortunately not there, just a wall, as I said once again, of Formula 1 cars as we come out now down towards Poole, and they actually dink the wall on the tyre. They're lucky not to get any damage from that. Gasly is going to try and send it down the inside, but we do keep it around the outside through Poole, and they nearly keep it between the white lines as well. There, yes, certainly at the start of this Grand Prix we moved past both of the Toro Rosso cars, but unfortunately not able to capitalise as much as I would have liked in the early stages of this race. Onto lap 2, they can see a huge bottleneck as we come out through the final chicane there, out of the final corner there. We're all over the back now of Marcus Ericsson, so we need to really try to manage our ERS use over these next couple of laps here, really try to make sure that we're not using all of it, before we get out towards sort of Blanchemont right at the very end of the lap here. But all over the back now of Marcus Ericsson using the overtake mode once again here, as obviously we proved in last night's science video that overtake mode is quicker down the straights. We're going to get a better run than Ericsson out onto the Kemmel Straight here. Hopefully Van Dorn is willing to give me the tow. Yes, he does. We're going to have a fresher engine, a quicker engine than Ericsson here. Is he going to try and keep it at the inside? Yes, he does, but we do just about swing it. We move to the inside there. It's going to be the outside once again through the next part of the corner, but we do swing it right around the outside there. Dip the wheel in the gravel, force him to the inside, down towards the hairpin there. Make sure we give him the worst run than he possibly can there. Right around the outside we go, though, and we are going to now move up into P17 of this Belgium Grand Prix in there, and I was really happy with that move. Moving on, though, towards the end of lap 2 of this Grand Prix. You see, once again, though, the AI really just bottle up coming down through these final couple of the corners there. I think we've got Kevin Magnussen there with a couple of issues on that car there. He actually had a fairly decent qualifying session on the whole there, so certainly, heartbreak for him. Haas really sort of struggle with race reliability. They face a lot of grid penalties, but actually very rarely retire from these races as well. But now we move into lap 3. DRS now obviously has been enabled here as we come now down towards Eau Rouge once more here, and actually, well, it's just a brilliant corner. You can't beat it. Unfortunately, that time that was nearly a brown trouser moment there as we nearly binned it going up Eau Rouge. But we'll have the DRS overtake mode and Rich Revs as well there. Van Dorn's going to try and look to the inside of Magnussen. We're going to try and go to the outside there. There's a little bit of contact made between all three of us there. Unfortunately, we do have to give the place back to Van Dorn. We try and keep it right around the outside through the next corner there. Squeeze Van Dorn a little bit to the inside. Are we going to be able to do what we were able to do to Ericsson just one lap ago? No, we cannot there. But Van Dorn slow off the exit though. We are going to be able to keep it up the inside going through the next corner there. Squeeze him out wide on the exit there. Very aggressive move from myself, but it now moves us up into P15 of this race here, and I was really happy with the early race progress that we were able to make. But towards the end of lap 3 though, this is where things started to get a little bit strange. The yellow flags as we've got Romain Grosjean parked off to the side of the circuit there, so we're certainly going to get a replay of what has happened there to the Haas driver here as we come out down this back straight up towards Blanchemont here. He's closing up to the back of Daniel Ricciardo here very quickly. Gets very close there, and well, he bails out going into the corner and then just, well, decides he's having a picnic on the outside of Blanchemont there. I think a safer place is where you want to, do that. But yeah, it just gets a little bit wide there, and well, just that certainly is a very weird sort of little thing that's happened there for Romain Grosjean there. But it's another place made up for myself and now up into P14 of this Grand Prix. So virtual safety car though has been deployed, so we're actually going to gamble it, come into the pit lane here, try to go for a little bit of an undercut strategy on the rest of the field then, make sure that we are on the hardest compounded tyres, as we are still looking to make it right the way through to the very end of this Grand Prix here. But this is going to be very tough to see whether we're going to be able to make this one-stop work here. 18 laps on a set of the medium compound tyres here. It's going to be very tough to try and make this work there. But a fairly clean pit stop on the whole there. We should have gained a few seconds thanks to that, but we've probably lost quite a few as well over the course of this race. So hopefully it will sort of balance itself out by the end. Hopefully, obviously, we've made gains in this race. As I said, throughout this first season, risks are really just what we need to take there, but we are now going to have to push like crazy over these next few laps. Kevin Magnussen 2 laps later, though, still clearly has got a huge amount of car issues there. We've already been pretty much able to catch him a whole pit stop to him there, almost contact there as he locks up in towards the end of the Kemmel Straight there. And now up back into P19 of this Grand Prix here. And next up would actually be Roman Groten there as the first few drivers actually start to make their pit stops here as we reach the third way stage of this Grand Prix. Now up into P17 of this Belgian Grand Prix here. So still, you know, moving up slowly but surely back through the order. And it's going to be interesting to see whether this has actually paid off as we move to the end of lap 10 here. You can see we're all over the back of Brendan Hartley. He yet has not made a pit stop in this Grand Prix either here, so it's looking quite interesting to see that we probably have capitalised quite a bit here, trying to send it down the inside in towards the final chicane. Well, I'm going to be at the Belgian Grand Prix this weekend, and that'll be where I'm sat as well. Then we move past a couple more cars as they are in the pit lane as well. There, it's going to be Ericsson. Are we going to be able to move past Fernando Alonso? I don't think we are. Obviously, that much shorter run through turn 1 there. Yeah, he's still going to come out just a couple of seconds up the road there, so that should hopefully give us a rough indication of where we are going to be in this Belgian Grand Prix as we come through Eau Rouge once more. Then just to be able to keep it pinned once again, you know, with these much higher aero cars, you know, it is a lot easier in the sort of 2017 and on era here. You can see a few more drivers now pitting in on the end of lap 11 here, the halfway stage of this Grand Prix there. So quite clearly, you know, these guys are going to have much fresher medium compound tyres right the way through to the end though. But we are going to be able to jump Lance Stroll as well as, I think, Stoffel Van Dorn in the pit lane there, which I'm really, really happy with that, you know, because in those guys, well, so Lance was about 4 seconds up the road by the time he actually made the pit stop there. So we have been able to capitalise a good sort of 6-7 seconds thanks to that, but it is going to be very, very tough between now and the end of the Grand Prix to try and hold on to these positions here. Kimi Räikkönen won that later, actually going for a bit of a 2-stop strategy. Is now going to fly back past me there. Now up into P11 of this Grand Prix once more, and obviously there's no chance you're going to be able to keep up with him right the way through to the end of this Grand Prix though. But unfortunately with the slipstream we're going to be right all over the back of him there as we come up into the bus stop chicane here. Lap 13 of this race. Then out of the final corner, we're going to have a look at what the margin is to Lance Stroll just behind me. It is 1.9 seconds here. 8 laps to go of this race. He was about sort of a couple of tenths of a second quicker than me at this stage of the day. You know, we were still pushing like absolute crazy. But skipping on lap 18 of this race, 4 laps to go now, and it was getting really, really tough to try and hold on from Lance Stroll. Obviously, as soon as he got within that 1 second margin, you know, with the DRS, it was making it a whole lot easier for him. Speaking of DRS, unfortunately, ours has failed at this late stage of the Grand Prix, which is certainly not going to help me out either here. You can see the tyres all very, very worn at this stage of the race, having to bail out ever so slightly over Eau Rouge as well. As we just didn't have the commitment with these tyres at the moment there. Lance is going to be in the slipstream. He's going to try to look to the outside here. As we come up towards the the chicane there, he's going to send it down the inside there. Almost contact made between the pairs there, but we do hold on for now here. And well, this is really, really shaping up to be a fantastic little battle right towards the end of this Grand Prix. I actually posted a little tweet last night saying about how, well, after this race I was absolutely sweating, but still now 2 laps to go of this Grand Prix. You can see Van Dorn and Stroll actually fighting with each other over these last couple of laps. You know, gave us a little bit of a breathing window. You know, these tyres were absolutely shot at this stage of the race. We were really just trying to hold on in any possible way that we could. They're out of the final corner. 2 laps to go now of this Grand Prix. Well, Lance Stroll is going to get a fantastic run down the inside into towards turn 1 here. Yes, he does. We're going to try and have to get a much better run on the exit of La Source here. Are we going to be able to do so? The back end kicks out once again. Then we pretty much get equal runs on the exit of the corner there. Lance is probably just a little bit better, but we are going to use the overtake. We're going to pretty much be pushing him up through a route there. A big sort of moment on the rear end of the car there. We're once again, though, going to be all over the back of them, pushing him up the Kemmel Straight here almost there, as we're now going to slide to the inside as we come up to the top of the hill there. Jeff having a go at me about how the fact that we need to try and keep it clean here, but we're just having a phenomenal battle between myself and Lance Stroll. We do swing it right around the outside though, through the first couple of corners of Sector 2, and we will be able to hold on once again just for now here, but we are pushing to the absolute limit to hold it ahead of Lance Stroll here. Kimi Räikkönen, fastest lap of the Grand Prix as we come in towards this final lap there. We've got Van Dorn though now trying to look to my outside as we come up towards P1 here. Not going to be able to make that work. Sorry, Blanchemont even there right around the outside. Not going to be able to make that work. And he will have a bit of a better run up towards the bus stop chicane, but we're going to try and park it on the inside there. Slide the car just in front of him there. Actually kick the back end out between the final couple of corners there, but we do hold on to P12 now with 1 lap to go of this Grand Prix here. Are we going to be able to hold on to this position? Just a few more corners of this race to go. You can see the tyres 70% wear on all of them here, so the tyres are absolutely destroyed. Carlos Sainz now out of this Grand Prix. It was looking like this could be the first race where we had every single driver make it through to the end. Van Dorn tried to have a look up the inside through Eau Rouge there, not going to be able to make that work. That's going to cost him a huge amount of time there. The yellow flags as well will give me a little margin of safety as well. But Lance now will be back up into P12 of this Grand Prix here. So we now move up into P11 here. Heartbreak for Carlos Sainz. That's going to be a good haul of points for him at the late stage of this Grand Prix. But through in towards the final sector of this race though, Sebastian Vettel pretends to be shocked. He will take home another race victory in this championship. His podium streak continues there, 13 races in a row now in this F1 2018 season. But just look at our tyres there. They are well and truly destroyed as we come up towards the final couple of corners of this Belgian Grand Prix. Are we going to be able to hold on? We've got no rich revs left. Very little ERS deployment as well. We've got a huge train of cars behind me. Lance going to try and look around the outside in towards the bus stop chicane. They'll park it on the exit of the corner. They're very, very late on the throttle there, but we are just going to be able to hold on for P11 in the Belgian Grand Prix. That was a phenomenal end to that race on the end there. Never have I pushed so hard there, and we didn't even score a point.
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. Tell me, Ant, what was the key to this success?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It's a good result for Sebastian Vettel, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
I have to give it to the Professor.
On to the constructors then. Ferrari extend their lead at the top of the championship. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Sauber, whose good result moves them further up the championship. There'll be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you can join us at the next race to see just who will come out on top.
So there we are then. That has been the end of the Belgian Grand Prix there. Seb, as I said, able to take home the race victory ahead of Bottas and Verstappen there. Lewis Hamilton down in P4 with Kimi Räikkönen 5th, Ricciardo 6th, Ocon 7th, Alonso 8th, Sergio Perez 9th, and Charles Leclerc actually doing a very, very good job to round out the points there for Sauber. We come through just ahead of my teammate Lance Stroll, and I think what is probably our team's best joint finish so far of this season there. Van Dorn down in P13 there with Hulkenberg 14th on the 2-stop there. Ericsson 15th, Magnussen with those issues in 16th there. Still able to stay ahead of his teammate Grosjean, well, with the Toro Rossos right at the rear of the field there, with Carlos Sainz retiring from that Grand Prix there. But yeah, there we are then. That has been the end of the Belgian Grand Prix, as well as sort of a quick little side thing I like to say not related to this video. My thoughts are there with Robert Wickens at the moment after that horrific crash in IndyCar. This has been the first video I was able to get a chance of saying that as well there. So obviously I'm hoping he does make a speedy recovery there. But going back then to this F1 race as well, Verstappen there jumps Lewis Hamilton once more in the driver's standings. Perez and Alonso both jump Carlos Sainz after that retirement there, and I think Charles Leclerc may be able to make a couple of small gains on the guys around him right towards the bottom of the field there as well. But as I said, you know, that was just an incredible race, you know, barely holding on destroyed tyres right at the very end there, and well, we just were able to make it work, and we didn't even score a point there Force India jump Haas once again there, and Sauber do jump Toro Rosso once more in the constructors' standings as well. But yeah, what a race. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed that one. Make sure you do leave a like if you did. Make sure you subscribe as well. We're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers at the moment, and we are, slowly but surely closing in on that big subscriber milestone. So hopefully, you guys can help me get one step closer to that as well. But yeah, there we are then. Hopefully we'll have a bit of an interview with Claire after the end of that Grand Prix as well.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective.
Yeah, well, what a race that
There
was
some
right at the
contact
very
between
end.
you two. What happened out there?
Well, I think, we're both great drivers at the top of our game, and I don't think there was any other response to
There was
this. I
quite a
liked
lot
the
of
other
contact
response,
today,
though,
wasn't there?
talking about a video game. There was a lot of contact out there, yeah, I think. I gave as good as I got out there, so I think it was probably the most balanced response, so I think I'm going to roll with that, which unfortunately decreased my Williams rep, which I'm not too sure
Great.
how
Well,
that
that's
works on the
everything.
whole. But, Claire finally happy with the responses I gave her after an interview there. But there we are then. That has been the end of the Belgian Grand Prix. What a crazy race, as I said, on the whole. Make sure, as I said, that you do like and subscribe to the video for more of the F1 2018 Career Mode. I'm trying to continue the double uploads right through whilst I'm away at the Belgian Grand Prix, which I actually leave Thursday very, very early in the morning there. But there we are then. That has been the Belgium Grand Prix race. Unfortunately, pretty much now lost both of our driver rivalries as well, but still very, very happy with how that race went in the end. But I will see you guys next time for the Italian Grand Prix.